Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to initiate beginner mode. So I've got 10 fragrances here that I think beginners would be well suited to check out. We've got the whole gamut here. You got cool weather fragrances, warm weather fragrances, daytime fragrances, nighttime fragrances, pretty much everything you could need. And every single one of these fragrances here is well loved by the overwhelming majority of people. These are compliment pulling, attention grabbing sort of fragrances. Because if you're an absolute beginner, it can be really overwhelming. You have literally thousands of choices of fragrances that have come out over the years, and sometimes you just have no clue where to start. How do you find out what you would even like? It's overwhelming. You have fragrances that run from $20 at discounters up to many hundreds or even thousands of dollars at the high end. It's a little bit intimidating. So let's go ahead and jump into these 10 scents that pretty much everyone's gonna love. Let's check these out. Let's get things kicked off with Stronger With You Intensely from Emporio Armani. Now, I think if you're getting into this line of fragrances, which is a very popular line nowadays, you shouldn't start with the original. If you've never smelled any of them, start with Intensely. Most people would agree this is a better fragrance overall, and it has massive performance. It projects heavily, it lasts forever. Now, that may or may not be important to you, but I know a lot of people, when they get started with fragrances, they're all about performance. They're all about beast mode, projection that's gonna fill up a room, longevity of 12 plus hours. A lot of people really get roped into that whole idea of it must be powerful. I want everyone to smell me. As time goes on, you'll probably step back from that a bit if that is what you're into, but regardless, Stronger With You Intensely is gonna fill that void. It's gonna scratch that beast mode itch for you. It's got toffee, cinnamon, suede, tonka, and pink pepper are some of the notes in the fragrance. And this line really helped elevate what we're seeing across a lot of different fragrance lines right now, making that toffee, caramel, or chestnut scent profile more popular and putting it more into the mainstream. This one's really sweet, warm, and spicy and has great versatility in the cooler months. Stronger With You Intensely, fantastic scent. Let's move over to another warm, sweet, spicy, sexy fragrance for cooler weather. This one, Dolce Gabbana's The One Eau de Parfum. This one has grapefruit, ginger, cardamom, tobacco, and amber. That's some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is not beast mode. The performance here is not amazing, but it is much better with the One Eau de Parfum as compared to the One Eau de Toilette. So once again, this is another circumstance where I'm going to tell you, if you've never smelled anything from the line, get the Eau de Parfum instead of the Eau de Toilette. Because like with Stronger With You Intensely, most people will agree that the flanker is better than the original. Now, even though the power here is not up to par with Stronger With You Intensely, I would say between the two, this is the sexier of the fragrances, if that's important to you at all. This is a better choice for a date night situation, or for those situations where you don't want the fragrance to overwhelm the people that you're around. This is a modern classic, modern masterpiece, Dolce Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. Amazing fragrance, and you have to smell that at some point, even if you don't own it. Now let's go with just straight up maximum versatility year round. This is from Christian Dior. It's Dior Homme 2020. Now Dior Sauvage is not in this video, but it realistically could be. Dior Sauvage you can also wear absolutely anywhere, so I feel like I need to bring that up. And for most people, Sauvage Eau de Toilette is gonna be the way to go if you're just getting started. For me personally though, if I'm gonna choose between Dior Sauvage and Dior Homme 2020, at this point, I'd rather take Dior Homme 2020. I think it's a bit classier. Bergamot, pink pepper, vetiver, and cedar are some of the notes in the fragrance. If you're a true beginner, you might smell this and think that it's too woodsy. It's a very modern, fresh, spicy, woodsy scent. But if you give this multiple wearings, it should grow on you, and this is the type of scent that you can wear anywhere, any place, anytime, formally, casually, doesn't matter. And it smells fantastic. I hated on this when it first came out. I really did. I crapped on it because they changed the whole Dior Homme DNA. It was an iris heavy fragrance before, and then they came out with this. But I gotta say, it's grown on me so much. From there, we move on to Versace Pour Homme. It's gonna be a great spring, summertime scent, and it is office safe as well. Bergamot, neroli, cedar, musks, and florals, some of the notes in here. It's going to give you a similar scent profile to Chanel Allure Sport, but this is much more affordable than the Chanel, again, assuming you're shopping at discounters, and this is a bit fresher than Chanel Allure Sport. This is a fragrance that pretty much any age range can pull off. Younger guys easily can wear this, and older guys can wear this easily as well because it doesn't go heavy-handed with the sweetness. It doesn't go with an overly youthful tone to it. It's really fresh, clean, and lively, and basically anybody can pull this off. And this is the type of scent that you can spray 50 sprays on yourself. Maybe don't go that crazy, but you could spray yourself a ton with this, and nobody's gonna be offended by the way this smells. Next up, I've got kind of a twofer. So it's Y Eau de Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent, or you could get Ralph's Club from Ralph Lauren. Now, these are done by the same perfumer. They both do pretty much the same thing, which is they're both big time compliment pullers, attention grabbers, and you can wear them year round. If you look up reviews online, a lot of people will hate on Ralph's Club more than Y Eau de Parfum, but this will serve you just as well as this. So if possible, if you're somewhere where you're sampling stuff and you see these, try them both out, see which one you like more. Now between the two, Y Eau de Parfum is the one that I've worn the most, but that's also because I've owned this longer. Ralph's Club is a newer release. It's got apple, ginger, sage, bergamot, amberwood, and tonka, some of the notes in the fragrance. This is Yves Saint Laurent's answer to Dior Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel. And since typically when I make a list like this, I don't want to load it down with the 3 most popular blue fragrances, I just pick one, and Y Eau de Parfum is the one that made it into this video. This is one of the fragrances that's gotten me the most unsolicited compliments of anything that I own. And when I say unsolicited compliments, I mean from people that I don't know, because typically compliments come from people that you do know, coworkers, friends, people that you go to school with, family, whatever. Typically it's people you already know. Because if they already know you, it's really easy for them to come up and say, hey, what are you wearing? It smells great, or whatever. If it's somebody you've never met, never spoken to, you're not gonna get very many compliments from people like that, because it's a little awkward for somebody to just come up to you and be like, what are you wearing? That you've never met, never seen. And compliments of that sort, Y Eau de Parfum is one of the best I've ever owned. Another freshie, Varvatos Artisan Pure. Petitgrain, ginger woods, musk, and a bunch of citrus are some of the notes in this fragrance. And this one is gonna give you a great warm weather, fresh, citrusy, soapy, clean scent. Again, like Versace Pour Homme, basically any age range can pull this off. Younger guys, middle-aged guys, older guys, doesn't matter. And this is one of the better fragrances for warm weather that's going to give you a classy edge along with that clean freshness that it has. Not overloaded with sweetness, just the right amount, and that's something that I look for a lot of times in warm weather scents, because if you go too heavy with the fragrance that's got a lot of sweetness to it, it can come across cloying. So what that means is it's gonna give you a headache potentially, or other people a headache, or it's just gonna smell too overly heavy-handedly sweet, and it's gonna make the fragrance not smell all that pleasing. Back to a cool weather scent, it is Armani Code Profumo. This one, like Stronger With You Intensely, a beast of a fragrance. This thing lasts forever and projects like a monster. Tonka, amber, cardamom, apple, and leather, some of the notes in this scent. Code Absolute is my personal favorite from the Code line as of this video, but Code Profumo is right there with it for me. I think this is great as well. It does have a lot of sweetness, but sweetness in cool weather oftentimes is smiled on. People like that, because it gives it that extra push and it really grabs people's attention. Sweet fragrances and fresh fragrances typically are your best bet if you're just looking for compliments or something that splits the difference between the two. It's got this great opening that some people have likened to cola or root beer, you know, this almost effervescent, sparkling sweetness. And as it dries down, that tonka, that amber, and the bit of spices give it this lingering sweetness and warmth that carries on through the dry down. Now, a hyper popular fragrance from Versace, Eros Eau de Toilette. This is another one of those circumstances where, for me personally, the Eau de Toilette is not my favorite of the bunch. But if you're just looking at the one in the lineup that most people gravitate toward, Eros Eau de Toilette, the original, is the way to go here. So we're doing the opposite of what we did with the one Eau de Parfum and Stronger With You Intensely and Code Profumo. Those were all flankers. With Eros, go with the original. Again, with the assumption here that you're just getting started. Otherwise, you might be a little bit more intrigued by the Eau de Parfum version of this scent. This one has mint, apple, tonka, vanilla, and cedar as some of the notes in the fragrance. And what it's most well known for really is the mint, the apple, and the vanilla. So you get this very synthetic but sweet and appealing mint in the opening, melding together with that apple. It really projects heavily. This is another fragrance that's got great performance. Then as it dries down, that sweet vanilla becomes the prominent note. A lot of people know Eros as a clubbing fragrance, as one of the top tier clubbing fragrances, and you can absolutely use this for clubbing, but it is more versatile than that. I've worn this to the office countless times and pulled a lot of attention while doing so. Just dial the sprays down a little bit. You don't want it to overwhelm people because this is a very sweet fragrance. And once you figure out how it works off your skin in terms of that performance, you can really figure out all the different places you can wear it to. Now, I had to work in at least one iris fragrance here because I'm a big fan of iris. I love it. And I'm going with Gentleman Boise. This one has cocoa, sandalwood, black pepper, and additional woody notes along with that iris, which is the most prominent thing in here. You've got good versatility with this fragrance. Sometimes with designer iris scents, people will pigeonhole them into being only a wintertime fragrance and only for formal occasions, or only a wintertime fragrance and only for nighttime. This one though is not too heavy, so you can pull it off in more situations across more of the year. The iris is creamy and sweet, melts together perfectly with the cocoa. Get a little pop of fresh spice in there, and you have a nice modern woodsy base for everything to rest on. It's very classy, very sexy, and a great fragrance to get started into iris with. We're gonna wrap it all up with Explorer from Mont Blanc. This is very inexpensive at discounters nowadays, which is great. That's a great boon because you don't want to pay full retail for this. Just straight up, you can get this for $30 at a discounter. Do not pay $80 or $90 for it. Or at least I think that's around about what it is at retail. I could be wrong, but I think it's around there. It's got vetiver, ambroxan, akigala wood, pink pepper. This smells like a designer take on Creed's Aventus. It does not smell exactly like Creed's Aventus though. Keep that in mind. You can't say, I smelled Explorer, I know exactly what Aventus smells like, but you can say, I smelled Explorer, I have an idea of what Aventus might smell like. This, like YSL Eau de Parfum, is going to give you that versatility year-round, daytime, nighttime. Just adjust your sprays up or down as needed. The opening is great, very attention-grabbing, and as it dries down, it maintains that compliment factor that so many people are looking for. I would say don't go for Explorer Ultra Blue. I think that fragrance on the whole is not very good. It smells like a really cheap kind of aquatic, and yeah, you can pick it up for a good price at discounters, but there's so many other better ones out there. So as of right now with this line, just stick with the original. That's the only one that you need. And if you've never smelled Aventus and you smell Explorer and you think Explorer is fantastic and amazing, definitely go ahead and pick yourself up a sample of Creed's Aventus at that point. All right, guys, there we go. 10 different fragrances that I think are amazing for absolute beginners. All of these are compliment pullers. All of these are easy to wear. And between these 10, you've got a good mix of warm weather and cool weather and daytime and nighttime scents. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me today. Thank you for your support. Stay safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.